What is up, everybody? Hoang Zero here, and today I'm bringing you a deck profile for EX4 utilizing the new armor support we did receive. This is Armor Control. This list was made by one of my mods, Llama. He is a player that has done pretty well with armors in the past, if you may remember. Back in BT8, he was the person that constructed the armor list that we had on the channel, and he's back once again with a new armor list. This armor list combines a lot of the old elements for armors, but it combines it using the new playstyle that it did receive from the EX4, being a much more control-oriented playstyle, and we have a lot more tools to use. So, without further ado, let's get started. Alright, and to kick us off, we are going to go straight into the Digitama. We do play the 4 Wanyamon. This Wanyamon is, of course, if you have a blue tamer in play, draw 1 when attacking. Pretty much is just the easiest way for blue to have draw power. Yes, you could do Upamon, but Upamon relies on your opponent having a Digimon without sources. Wanyamon is a lot more proactive, and so that's the reason why we opt for it. Next, we do play the BT12 Vmon. BT12 Vmon is on play, reveal top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 card with Imperial in its name or free trait, and 1 Davis in its name to your hand. And then it's end of turn. ESS is end of turn. You can Jogras using this and another Digimon. And so this deck, it's really important that you actually do have access to the Jogras at end of turn, because what that allows you to do is it allows you to play much more aggressively, so that way you can contest your opponent in the early game and then get to a late game win condition where your control elements are really going to shine. So this Vmon is not only a searcher, but also setting you up for a much stronger early game. And speaking of early game, we also do play the 4 Jamming Vmon. This Vmon straight up just jamming from BT 3 or 1.5 if you're an English player. And this Vmon, the reason why it's so important is because it helps you contest for the early game, that you can swing jamming and then you can go ahead and Jogras using it later on in the turn. You can also swing jamming Evo and then tap Davis Ken, which we'll talk about in a bit, and then that's another swing if you want to go for that. And if that happens to live, then you can Jogras on top of that. So that's a 2 damage into an Evo combo. At worst, you purge down and you can just repeat. So there's a lot of different ways that you can go about it, but Jamming Vmon, definitely a really powerful card in this deck. And then 2 Patamon from BT8, it's just end of turn Jogras, so it's 2 extra copies of the Vmon. It doesn't search, but being able to give you that end of turn Jogras, like I said, really important. And then we play 3 of the BT8 Vmon. This one is on play, reveal top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 2-color blue card among them to your hand, place remaining cards at the bottom. And so the thing to notice about this Vmon is that it specifies 2-color blue card, so it can grab Tamers and options. So it is able to grab the Davis Ken. It is also able to grab the Megadeth, and Megadeth is really, really impactful, because Megadeth is one of your strongest control options. Being able to grab that option from your top deck is really strong. Now we do play 2 of the BT8 Angemon. Angemon, or Angemon, however you want to say it, is a 3-cost Evo, but again, if you're ending your turn on it and then Jogressing with it, it's totally fine. And it is your turn. When this Digimon would Digivolve, if you have 3 or fewer security, heal 1. And ESS is when attacking, if you have 3 or more security cards, return 1 of your opponent's level 3 Digimon to their hand. So the ESS, I mean, it's handy sometimes, helps get rid of some floodgates here and there, but really, you're focusing on the fact that it is a dual color. It's both yellow and blue, so it's one of your easier components to use when going into Chocolon, but also, healing 1 is a really nice addition, especially when you're just trying to grind out. We do play 3 copies of Ankylomon. This is Ankylomon. It is 2 costs over yellow, 2 costs over blue. When you would play this card from your hand, if you have a blue Digimon in play, reduce the play cost by 1, so it's a 3-cost Hard Slam most times. And then its ESS is when attacking. If you have a blue Digimon in play, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 DP. So when combined with your other DP minus cards, it can really easily just stack up. But generally speaking, it's just very easy Hard Slam fodder in order to go ahead and Jogras into your Chocolon, Jogras into your Chimeramon, whatever it may be, just turboing into that 5, because in this deck you really just want to get into your 6 as soon as possible. But you play 4 copies of Magnumon. Magnumon is a 4 cost over blue or yellow, but if you Evo over Vmon, it does only cost 3, and if you have been a fan of the Hoang Zero channel for a while, you will know that I used to refer to this as a Swiss Army knife, because basically it has the impact of a level 6 built into a level 4 body, hence why it costs 3 and such. Blocker, Purge, Unsuspend, gains DP, like it really just does a lot of things. and as you know, when Digivolving, unsuspend, and gets plus 2k for each until you're at the end of your opponent's next turn, and for each card with armor in your trash. So your Magnumons and your gold Vedramons will all contribute towards this. So it's very easy to have at one or two of them in your trash already, so you can hit 11,000 DP relatively easily. With jamming Vmon, this is swing, Evo swing, purge down if it breaks, and then Evo again, Ken Davis swing again, that's 3 swings, and then there's also blocker for defensive utility. Now the new card of the deck, Gold Vedramon, it is 3 cost over yellow or 2 cost over Vmon. It is Armor Purge, which you don't remember, Armor Purge is when this Digimon be deleted. You may trash the top card of this deck, the top card is Digimon to prevent the deletion. And when Digivolving, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2,000 DP for the turn. If you have a blue or yellow Tamer in play, or a card with armor form and its traits in your trash, one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 DP or less cannot attack or block until the end of your opponent's turn. So this is a very helpful card when contesting early game board states. The minus 2,000 DP can snipe smaller bodies, it can push level 5s into the threshold to get stunned. It's just a really handy way to just control your opponent's board using low end. It's a blue-yellow, so it does contribute towards the Chocolon as well. And you can Evo into this, get the proc, and then go ahead and Evo into Chocolon. And then Chimeramon. Chimeramon is, 4 cost over any color level 4, or you can Joggers into it for 0 with any 2 force. When Digivolving, may place 1 level 5 Digimon or lower from your trash at the bottom of the source. Then up to 4 of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 1,000 DP for each of this Digimon's color, including its own. And then your turn, this Digimon is also treated as having the colors of the cards underneath it. While it says 4 or more colors, it gets plus 4,000 DP. So the cool part about Chimeramon is that you can, the minus 1,000 DP comes up quite a bit, and especially in this deck where you're having multiple colors, so blue plus yellow plus white has minus 3,000 DP. That can push a lot of cards into a very easy threshold for you to beat over. That can delete a ton of smaller bodies. Being treated as both yellow and blue from underneath lets you evolve into your level 6s that require those colors. And the really powerful part about this is that you can grab anything from underneath. So if you want to go ahead and grab that Ankylomon for an additional minus 3,000 DP, maybe you want to go ahead and grab the Angemon for an extra bounce. Really, the sky's the limit, right? You can grab Chocolon if you want to get some additional minus DP as well. And when combined with the Gold Vedramon minus 2,000 DP, Jogress because of end of turn into Chimeramon additional minus 3,000 DP, that's minus 5,000 DP, which hits a good chunk of the level 4s and below. And then you do play the 4 Chocolon. Chocolon is 4 cost over blue and yellow, but if you Jogress, it's for free with blue and yellow level 4s. When Digivolving, if you have 5 or fewer security, heal 1. Then if you did Jogress, return one of your opponent's Digimon whose level is less than or equal to the number of cards in your security stack. So if you had 5 security, heal 1, go to 6, and you do bounce a level 6. And then its ESS is when attacking, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 DP for the turn. So again, really powerful control card. This is one of the stronger Jogresses that it wasn't Pyodramon, so it didn't go to the Vmon deck, which was the big Jogress, right? But Chocolon, still a very powerful card. The heal one is very handy, especially going into the grind game. The bounce is very conditional, yes, but early on enough into the game, it's potentially unlikely that your opponent may have chipped you, so you can bounce 6. And then the minus 3,000 DP, very easy to use that in combination with the rest of your cards. And then we do play 3 of the Shadow Seraphimon, one of the new boss cards from EX4. This is a 4 cost over yellow or black, so all our cards end up being yellow for the most part because of Chimeramon taking on yellow attributes and Chocolon being half yellow. Opponent's turn, when a card is removed from your security stack, Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. On deletion, heal 1, then one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4,000 DP for the turn for each card in your security stack. So how Shadow Seraphimon really interacts with this deck is if your opponent decides to swing in the Shadow Seraphimon to try and deny the Digivolve mechanic, then if Shadow Seraphimon were to die, you do go ahead, you heal 1, and then you minus DP, so you can destroy large bodies relatively easily. If your opponent decides to, go around the Shadow Seraphimon, go for your security, you go ahead and Digivolve them, which can get rid of a lot of their powerful boss cards. So Shadow Seraphimon is forcing your opponent to make really awkward decisions. And with Shadow Seraphimon, if you want to play much more aggressively, using Chocolon and Ankylomon, that's a minus 5,000 DP on swing, which can be really powerful. If you happen to use Chimeramon and grab another Ankylomon or grab another Chocolon, that can potentially be a lot more additional DP. Or actually, I stand corrected. With Chocolon plus Ankylomon, it's minus 6,000 DP. If you grab another one of those using Chimeramon, that is a minus or I guess if you have Chimeramon, and then you would grab the Chocolon. So really, okay, so it's minus success in TP, but still really powerful stuff. And then we play 2 of the Magnumon X. Magnumon X is 3 cost over yellow, 3 cost over blue, 4 cost over Magnumon, so it's basically a warp. Opponent's turn, when an opponent's Digimon attacks, if you have armor in its traits, then you may redirect the attack to this card. And when this Digimon would be deleted, you may place the top card of this Digimon on the top of your security stack face down to prevent the deletion. So it's basically a pseudo armor purge that does heal, and it lets you go down into your Chocolon, your Chimera, or even your Magnumon, and then those have armor purge themselves. The attack redirect is really powerful because when you're inflicting so much minus DP onto the board, this lets you just really prevent your opponent from getting in there, because using, for example, the Magnumon gain blocker, Magnumon blocker, don't pass turn, Magnumon X, redirect the attack, go down to Magnumon, you still have blocker, you can block out, that's double blocker, and then you can go down into your Vmon or whatever it may be. So again, you have a ton of control elements, a very defensive deck. Now we do play the 2 of the Death Xmon. As you know, when you would play this card, reduces memory cost by 3 for each of your opponent's Digimon and Tamers they have in play. On play, when digivolving, de-digivolve 1 all of your opponent's Digimon, then delete all of their level 4 or lowers. End of opponent's turn, delete all of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost. Note that it does come from purple or black, so you can evolve this over Shadow Seraphimon if you are looking for that style of play. But really, it's just helping you with board control. Sometimes your opponent will just opt to go wide if you don't have enough DP removal on the spot, and so Death Xmon is really excellent at punishing those. It also helps you get rid of some of the larger stacks if you don't have immediate access to your options. We do play 3 of the Megadeth. Megadeth is 5 costs blue-green, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, then return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to their hand. Do note that with Megadeth, you do need a green component, so it's really that you do need your Ken Davis for this. But it's very cheap removal, really will just hit anything in the game, more or less. It's a really powerful security bomb especially, just a good card overall. And then we play 4 of Heaven's Judgment. This is a new option card coming from EX4. Heaven's Judgment is a 7 cost, but if you 7 cost yellow, and if you control a green Digimon or Tamer, you may use this without meeting the color requirements. Main effect, activate the effect below, then for each color among the Digimon you have in play, activate the effect again. So if one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6,000 DP, and then so with blue and yellow both being on your board, which is very easy, that's a minus 18,000 DP total, and security effect is minus 12. Heaven's Judgment is a very powerful form of removal. Not a lot of decks have anti-DP minus. They do have anti-bounce protection at times, but anti-DP is not very common. And minus 18 especially will smite almost anything, and you can split it so you can kill potentially 2 bodies, 3 bodies, whatever it may be. We play 2 Davis. Davis is Memory Tamer. If start to 3, grab top 3, add a blue or green. You don't have any greens, so you're grabbing blues. It's just a nice consistency booster. And then Ken Davis, 4 cost, start of your main phase. If you have a blue Digimon in play, gain a memory. If you have a green Digimon, gain a memory. We don't have green Digimon, so really it's just going to be for the blue Digimon, gain a memory. And then your turn, when one of your Digimon digivolves into a 2 color or more, tap this Tamer to unsuspend that Digimon. So Evo into one of your armors, unsuspend. It's a green component for your Megadeths. It can also be used for your Heaven's Judgment as well, proc. And really, it's just giving you some extra memory to play with. So Ken Davis is a really powerful aggressive tool, but that also simultaneously enables your defensive options. So that's our deck profile for Armor Control in the EX4. Thank you all so much for watching. Really do appreciate it. Hope this was insightful and helpful, and peace out.